Welcome back to the Spots and Stripes here in South London, and we're into match 4. The USA are leading 2-1. So let's welcome into the arena from Yorkshire, Chris, the magician Melling. And representing the USA, his opponent from Ohio is the torpedo, Billy Thorpe. And we'll hand over to our commentators, Jeremy Jones and Emily Fraser.
Good afternoon to all of our UK and Europe fans watching, and perhaps good morning and maybe early afternoon for our Team USA fans. Hope you're all enjoying it so far. This is obviously our Team England versus Team USA event, which is race to 7 points overall. The overall score at the moment is 2-1 to USA, and we've obviously got Chris Melling here and Billy Thorpe, who is for our 4th match, and Chris Melling has won the lag and he is up to break. And Jeremy, so the lag must obviously, it's so important when it's in a race to 5 format. So ahead of the Mosconi Cup, is that obviously that you guys speak to with the team?
Oh, absolutely. It's something, it should be practiced. There's definitely a better way to hit the lag that gives you a better chance to perform. But yeah, we consider it huge in a race to 9 or a race to 11. But now a race to 5 is definitely magnified, and it's the first opportunity to apply pressure, and that's huge. Of course, it could be, with a scratch on the break or some unfortunate thing, it could be could turn the other way, of course. But okay, he's made a ball on the break. Is the 7 going to get in the way of the 1? And I think it is. With a full eclipse on the 1, he's going to have to make a difficult rollout. And the problem with when you have some congestion, the rollout becomes difficult because safeties become much easier for your incoming player. So when there's a little bit more openings, it's a little more difficult to play safe, and you certainly don't want to roll out to an offensive shot. You don't want the rollout to be your last opportunity at the table. You want to at least force your opponent most of the time into a safety.
I'm learning so much here, Jeremy.
Yeah. Occasionally the safety is too easy and you have to challenge your opponent with a long, difficult pot on a ball. But
so push out called here from.
Yeah, I think he's rolling out to a kick, trying to tie the 4 up. I think he's left him a piece of the 1. He can get in between the 2 and 3. Not sure what he can do with it, because just a little bit of an angle, or maybe he can only see a very sliver of the 1. So very hard for us to tell exactly what he has right here. And again, like we talked about in the opening match, you rarely ever pass the rollout. You don't do it very often. So this must be a difficult situation for Chris.
Reset that clock, please.
So Chris taken his extension here. So obviously it's a Mosconi Cup style format here for this particular event. There's a 30-second shot clock in play, like all of our matchroom pool events, and each player gets 1 extension per rack. So obviously Chris has taken his now.
Okay, just shaving the 1, and he's going to end up giving up a shot on the 1. So he's close enough. He should be able to draw over for the 2 in the lower right, and he may even want the 4-9 carom shot later in the rack. I think is makeable, but he may open the 4-9 right here. It's fairly natural, like that's just a little bump. Then. Yeah. And he opened the 4-9 nice. Now he's going to collide with the 8. There's no stopping that. So he's got to make a decision. How much of the 8 am I going to catch? It looks like he can catch it and just come 1 rail straight up for the 3. Like so. Now you'll notice how much the 8 slowed the cue ball down, but I think he got just enough to where he can still cut the 3. Maybe not. Now one thing he can do with that 4, 8, and 9 there, he can bank the 3 back underneath him, trying to be offensive and run the cue ball to where he can have a two-way shot. I think he can hit this with a top English, just hitting just past the side with the cue ball, running 2, maybe 3 rails for position on the 4, and also trying to play a safety at the same time. So I think he does need to be aggressive here, going for this bank shot.
And like you said in the other game, Billy obviously very strong with the bank shots as well.
Oh yeah, you'll notice where he played the cue ball though. He had like a two-way shot. Now this has become difficult. He's very straight on the 4. The 5's pinned on the other side rail, and the problem is he's gonna get some collision on the 9. Meaning after he makes the 4, I believe the cue ball will catch a piece of the 9. Maybe not. He may be able to avoid it, but it's not easy. Yeah, he caught a little piece, but a nice draw stroke.
Yeah, nice stroke.
So Billy, after entering the country at a late hour last night.
I can't even talk about Billy's flights yet. I'm not over it yet.
Well, he's really only made one mistake. He played a really solid match after making an early mistake. He's a little short there. Still should be able to manage, though.
No, fair play to Billy. He obviously, in case anyone doesn't know, he had an absolute nightmare trying to get over to London. With obviously all the weather forecasts in Chicago, and it was an absolute nightmare for him. And he only came in late last night, didn't he? And
didn't arrive to the apartment till maybe 10:30. Exactly,
and then he's up straight away this morning to start practicing, and obviously straight into this event. So, absolutely great effort from him to just get up and straight into it.
Yeah, it helps to be young and fit. I'll tell you that.
And now taking up the first rack here against Chris Melling, which is obviously starting off strong.
We'll be breaking the balls in game 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's 2-1 overall in this Team England versus Team USA event. 2-1 to Team USA. And obviously it's 1-0 at the moment to Billy Thorpe. It's a race to 5 racks. And for anyone that's tuning in and watching, you are obviously tuning in ahead of our Mosconi Cup event, which is taking place next Tuesday the 4th until Friday the 7th of December at the wonderful Alexandra Palace. So if you are not there, if you are not planning on tuning in to watch on Sky Sports main event or Facebook Live, obviously in the US, or you haven't bought a ticket yet, I'm biased, but I strongly advise that you do, because it is going to be one hell of a tournament. And
well struck on the break there.
I was going to say one hell of a break as well.
Yeah. Hit him really square, and Billy's got plenty of power, like all these guys. He's got a little bit of a thin shot on the 1, but that's okay. That carries fairly natural position coming down the table. Now he's got to make a little bit of decision. Does he want to go just one rail straight at the 3, or does he want to try and get on the other side of the 2? Okay, and I like his choice here, trying to keep it simple. He may not end up with a great result, but I think that was the best play. That's kind of like what I like to call using your talent, meaning sometimes there's not a guarantee on everything. You just have to use your skill and your touch and your experience to come down table.
Obviously, Billy's not used to our matchroom style pool events. He's obviously played the Mosconi Cup last year, but how do you find that he plays with the shot clock? Because obviously some players that come in, like for instance Kachi, he's not used to that, and he's going to be playing next week for Team Europe. So how is he on? Well,
I was at the Mosconi last year, and I think a few times I think the thing is that the shot clock makes you get concerned all of a sudden.
Okay.
And then once you realize that, hey, let me get a little used to it, and it becomes way less concerned, meaning you kind of have a natural, like I can almost predict where the shot clock's at.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I turn my head, I know it's at the feeling of 14.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, you become very adept to it, yeah. Inept of knowing.
It's funny knowing the other side of it.
Oh, yeah. and it's something that you have to get used to. It's something that in time you eventually doesn't bother you that much. I mean, It really doesn't. It's almost like TV cameras in a sense. If when you first get out there in your first TV match, I think that's the only time I really ever saw a TV camera in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just something that's just kind of like,
what's this?
you just got too much at hand to do already. You got too many things that are so much more important, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
So he's got a little bit of a tester down the rail.
I was going to say, this looks like a tough shot, but obviously coming from me, that's I don't know how much sense I'm talking on that instance.
Yeah, it's a position to where, you know, if you're playing position on the 9, this isn't what you want to leave yourself. But if this is where you start every game, you'd be satisfied. Meaning these guys are supposed to bury this one. Ooh. So he overcut it just a touch. And a little upset about that. Now he's going to leave a thin cut on the 9 or a long rail bank. I think in normal circumstances, with a lot of time at the table, I think you're going to see Chris cut this ball in. I believe that he'll still do the same. He may end up banking it. And he'll use his extension, which he already has. This is a 9-ball player's bank, meaning this is one he's going to be a little favorite to make. That's,
okay, so it's 1-1 here. The Team England versus Team USA warm-up style event for the partypoker Mosconi Cup that is taking place next week at Alexandra Palace. So I hope you're all joining us.
And what a year Chris has had, starting in January of last year, winning the Derby City Classic.
Yeah, and obviously there's been a lot of speculation about him for the Team Europe wildcard picks for next week, and I know there was a lot of uproar for the fact that he didn't get picked, and obviously when Mario withdrew, and obviously Kazak is coming in on the points, there's a lot of disgruntled fans, I must say, that are out there. But this is what the Mosconi Cup is all about. Everyone puts in the work, across the year to make the team.
Mm-hmm. To be in the conversation. Exactly,
and Chris has obviously had a fantastic year, but hasn't played all of the ranking events.
Mm-hmm.
So. And someone like Alex Kazakis, he deserves that spot.
And obviously had a great year himself. So
exactly. So
played incredible in Russia. I watched that.
I'm excited to see, how he plays next week with the team. I've obviously only seen him play in a World Cup of Pool style.
Okay, so that's the first time we've seen somebody kind of pull the cue ball out to the center. And he's winded up with some great results here. He's got a little bit of, can he get at the 1? If he can get at the 1, he can go forward for a nice shot on the 2. And you can see from there, he's definitely got some work, but it's very doable. Okay, that's, okay, used every bit of the pocket there and a little bit of the rail. So he'll check the cue ball up, just coming across the table, playing short side on the 4. Okay, so that shot there tells me that the 6 goes by the 7 easily. And this is kind of the pool gods punishing Billy for missing that 9-ball, even though it wasn't easy. It was one he would feel like he's making 8 out of 10 probably.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like a punishment for him, doesn't it?
That's a little bit of a mental error there, getting flat on this 8-ball. He definitely would have rather had angle. Now he's got to hit this with speed and a lot of draw. Not saying he couldn't do it, but you could tell how much more effort that
required.
Demanded. Yeah.
Quick rack there, so it's obviously 2-1 to Chris Melling. The overall score here at the Team England versus US game is 2-1 to USA. And for anyone obviously watching Our Party Poker Mosconi Cup takes place next Tuesday at Alexandra Palace, and it's live on Sky Sports main event for all of you UK fans. For all you USA lot, it's going to be live on Facebook, which is obviously extremely exciting for everyone.
And the quality can't be any higher, that's for sure. Sky does such a great job.
It's even just things like the fans' choice. I mean, that's obviously something that's interesting. We've introduced this into obviously the Mosconi Cup and our World Pool Masters, and so fans all have the choice to be able to pick the players for the first match of the second day of the Mosconi. So next Wednesday, the first game on, you guys all get to decide who plays. Singles match, and that's got to be exciting in itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now you may see Chris go for a little bit of a, I wouldn't say low percentage shot, but not quite as high a percentage as these guys are used to shooting at, because he's again in a difficult situation on a rollout. It's doable, but difficult. So you may see him go after this 1-3 combination, even though he's back on the end rail, and it's not easy.
Push out.
Oh, he's going to push, even though he can see the one. That's how difficult the situation is from up on that rail.
So what's
really
Billy
curious.
thinking here?
At first glance, I think I'm giving this back. I think.
I feel like he's confident in it, don't you?
What's that?
I feel like he's confident in it. That he looks like he wants to have a go at it.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like Chris would have shot the combination from the break if he was going to attack. So I'm wondering which route he's going safe here. I don't think he's going offensive. Like I said, I think he would have attacked right from the break rather than giving Billy an option. Yeah, I wasn't so sure about that rollout, and I think a wise choice by the young man Billy Thorpe, passing it back. He's got a thin cut on the one. It's makeable, and I think if he drops to the end rail, he can get at the 2, but the problem is the 3 is really cut off.
Extension call.
So extension there for Billy, and just to touch base obviously on the event rules here, it's a Mosconi Cup style format, so each player has a 30-second shot clock and they have 1 extension per rack.
Now the way the balls are, all these guys, when they look at a jump shot like this, right, they're saying to themselves, oh, I'm never going to run into the 9, right? But when the rack's really not doable, this is when you may elect to kick, because you don't want to take a chance of catching the 9 and opening the 3. And of course, giving up ball in hand, that's one thing, but the kick is very easy, meaning he should hit it at a high percentage. And really, it's a low percentage to lead Billy to where he can run out. So taking a little bit of a chance with this jump, in my opinion. Still should be all right. And he drew the cue ball back, and that was totally intentional. But you see how he opened the 3. So now, if he had kicked at that ball, no chance of opening the 3. Both the balls would have most likely been up table. So now Billy, if he can lay down this safety behind the 2, I don't think he's going to go for the cross-side bank. He may, but if he can lay down the safety now with the 3 opened, later in the rack, he could possibly get out. This should be about. Oh wow! It would buy the 2. That was hard to do. That's why you'll see a little bit of a grin on Billy's face. You realize how difficult to squeeze the cue ball by the 2. If it bumps the 2, he opens the 2 up a little better, and he gets the snooker. Now the cue ball's rested on the rail, so you may see him elevate here, trying to get the cue ball to the left side of the table. Wow, look how good that was.
Even under those circumstances as well, of the shot clock going off, it's still a great shot, obviously, from Chris there.
Because the cue ball was frozen on the rail, so to guide it in between the 4-7 and bring it all the way back down, pretty impressive. And that's even
That's
better
nice
left-handed.
there,
Wow, what a shot. I don't even think he can jump the ball. I think the 8's got him cut off from jumping. Maybe not. If he got him underneath that 8, Billy's in trouble. So he does have to go to the jump cue. He may elect to bank this cross corner back underneath him where he's standing.
Foul.
You say foul?
Yeah,
He caught the 8, I
believe he
guess.
hit the 9 first.
Ball in hand.
The ball in hand for Chris Melling there.
Yeah, the 8. He just caught a piece of the 8. Oh, he set the cue ball up awfully close. Yeah, I would have to look at this a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he set it up like an inch away. At least that 2 inches is, well, it's twice as far, but it makes a big difference. Wow, that was interesting. I thought he would play the 2-8.
I mean, he's obviously not set himself up.
Yeah, he should make this, and he'll go into the 6. The problem is, how far is the cue ball going to go down table? That's the real issue here. So he's going to have to probably float this. And he's overcut it. And the reason why he overcut it is he tried to get as much of the 6 with the cue ball as possible. That way to slow the cue ball down from going up table. So he's not left Billy much. Billy's going to attack 2 rails up the table trying to make this 2 ball. It's the type of kick shot these guys are so amazingly accurate with. You kind of get a visual of the little parallelogram coming out of the corner going right at the 2. Great hit. And left Mr. Melling a bit of a tester up in the corner. These full hits are Chris's bread and butter, though, really. The long ones, nice full hit on the ball. Even when he's on the rail and it's a tough shot, he's just...
He still seems to make it, doesn't he, Chris?
Yeah, high percentage, yeah. I think that's the snooker background. They play such full shots. Very confident.
Yeah, because Chris obviously took a bit of time off to actually play snooker a little bit more and took some time off from pool. He's obviously coming back into pool from this year as well, so it'll be interesting to see what his plans are obviously for next year as well.
Well, after this past year on the pool scene, I think he's going to go for more titles in that direction. And he's fallen a little bit funny here. Side pockets, you can't really cheat him near as much, especially when you're attacking with speed. Yeah. Got before the sign, great shot. So he put a little more force to try and cheat the angle, getting to the rail with the cue ball and then down table. Okay, so after a miss on the 9 ball in rack 2, looking to go up 2-0 for Billy. It's been 3 in a row for Chris Melling and Team England.
Exactly, so it's 3-1. Now it's obviously overall score is 2-1 to USA. And for those of you joining, obviously we've got the wonderful US Open that is coming up for us next year, April the 21st at Mandalay Bay Casino in Las Vegas. Obviously, Jeremy, it's the first time we've taken on the US Open for Matchroom Multisport, so a new challenge for us, but we recently obviously announced that we're set at a 256 player field. We're over halfway already. You know, we've got 60 qualifier spots confirmed.
Right.
So, and 116 players that have already paid their fee. So anyone who is planning to play and hasn't and thinks there's going to be loads of spots, I'm telling you now, this event will sell out. So you should buy your spot very soon.
Yeah, well, the quality of that event is it's always been good, but it's only going to rise with Matchroom involved. Okay, so great opportunity here. A little chip shot on the 2. Probably just screw the cue ball back a little bit for the 3 on the side and then the 4 on the opposite side. I think the 6 passes the 7, so he's got options there. And Chris, I'll tell you one thing you can take from him is just his confidence. I'll tell you, he plays with confidence.
You can tell, can't you, with Chris?
Oh, yeah.
Just such a confident player. And obviously that reflects so well in when you're playing.
Yeah, well, stationary objects, sports, pool, golf, darts, things like that. So much between the ears. All these guys have ability, so. Right. Okay, that's settled. If it had gotten all the way to the rail, that may have been a hair thin, but now he's very natural to come around the table. And looking to take a 4-1 lead.
That's 4-1 to Chris Melling here against Billy Thorpe. He is on the hill, so just one more rack. It is race to 5 each match here, just like the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah.
And talking of the Mosconi Cup, it is taking place next Tuesday the 4th till Friday the 7th of December. Live on Sky Sports main event, as well as Facebook in the US and India as well. So, and over 130 sort of broadcasters that are also taking the event. This is going to be the best event in the world for 9-ball pool, and anyone can quote me on that. And
it should be at the 25th anniversary now.
It is, yeah, the 25th year, and it will be the most spectacular. I can assure everyone that. Just even seeing Team USA here as well, I know it's going to be a competitive event, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm sure everyone else is as well.
Oh, that 5-ball hung again in that pocket. Are we going to see a carom on the 9? I think the 9's a little past the side to take that chance. So he'll try to run out here in an open table. It's all about this first shot. You'll see the 6 is covering up the 2 a little bit. So he needs to fall in that little gap between the 6-4. So he'll come 3 rails around to about the middle of that side rail near the 4. Fairly natural. One thing is, don't cheat it too much and catch the 7 coming out off that 3rd rail. You don't want to catch the 7-ball, so, and you don't want to overhit it and get behind the 4. So pretty perfect there by Chris Melling. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't want to make both of them here, and that happens a lot. And it gets the players in a predicament, so he'll just use his touch and just hit this very lightly. Wow, he hit it a little more speed than I thought. That ball could have fallen. So now he's got to make a decision. Do I want to draw out of there? Do I want to chip it? Okay, he caught both them balls. So now possibly a little bit of an opening. He's got a tough bank shot here because he's got to make a decision. Do I want to go all the way around, or do I want to float this bank in cross corner? He's playing the carom. Problem with the carom is I'm not sure you're going to end up with another shot. Okay. Oh, he did well, and he ended up with a great shot on the 4-9.
He's done a great shot then.
Yeah, to end this match. Entire score at 2 apiece.
And so that is 5-1 to Chris Melling against Billy Thorpe, which takes our overall score to 2-all for this England versus USA game. It is race to 7 points here, guys. So it's 2-all. We have a long night ahead of us. I hope you're all planning on joining us all evening to see, obviously, how this plays out. It is 2-all. Team USA versus Team England. And for those of you still tuning in, we're going to be, it's match 5 next. And that will be Chris Melling obviously staying on the table against Imran Majid, joined with Imran Majid, not against, versus Corey Deuel and Skylar Woodward. So join us all soon, guys. This play will be continuing very shortly. Now's the time for a toilet break, so I suggest you run fast. Players will be out soon. Thanks to Jeremy for joining us. So see you later.
good.
Sorry. Yeah, Corey, do you put?
Okay, thank you.
Did I say there were no interest in this? Did I say there were no? Okay, nice one. Oh, that's Chris. Cheers, Emma. Cheers, Scott. Oh, that's great. Thanks.
So we're into match number 5 now. It's evenly poised at 2-all.
So wins the lag.
And it's a doubles match. Chris Melling and Imran Majid against Skylar Woodward and Corey Deuel.
Thank you. Race to 5 racks. First rack, USA to break.
Well, Sky Woodward has had a great year playing. I think he's improved the last few months, that's for sure. Maturing daily. Dry break here to open match number 5. Imran didn't have the best opening match. He had a couple of mistakes, but then the ball's kind of laid against him. So looking to redeem himself here with a pretty routine combination on the 1-4 to open. And that missed 9 ball in the second game last match really opened the door for Chris, and he took full advantage, huh, Luke?
He did indeed, yeah. I mean, looking at this one, it looks like Looks fairly easy for him run out there, doesn't it, on this table?
Okay, he's going to move the cue ball a little bit, probably for the 3 in the side. Oh no, he just stunned it over for the 3 in the corner. And I think a very good choice. I think you should probably, if he's dead straight here, I think he should pinch the cue ball back for the 3 in the side, because he can shoot the 6 from some distance. Or yeah, this is the 6 from. He doesn't have to get close to the 6. So he's got it natural where he can just go forward. Well, actually, there's a little more angle there than first thought, Luke. So he may be going a little bit towards the 8. You may get a little rub on the 8 here. Nice shot. A pretty natural shot, just 1 rail out for the 8, and then the 9 should be in the same pocket. Both these guys for Team England with Mosconi Cup experience.
They've indeed,
not a ton, but
Chris has played a couple of times and Imran once. They look quite comfortable together there, I thought.
yeah, 2 English chaps, so known each other a long time, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, Chris has been around a long time. I remember him playing in Cardiff in the World 9 Ball back in the sort of late 90s. He was an English 8 ball player and a snooker player and a 9 ball player, and I think he's kind of juggled those 3 over the years, and he's still one of the top cueists in the world, I'd even have to say at this stage. I mean, he's probably got one of the most admired strokes in the game, hasn't he, Chris?
Yeah, and we talked about it in the last match. He's just fun to watch. He breeds a lot of confidence, the way he plays. He would have been a big show next week, and I know he was talked about as a wild card pick.
Yeah.
And then obviously again later on, a little misfortune for Team Europe, but a guy that will definitely be considered, I'm sure, in the next several years.
Yes, I mean he didn't play in that many of the Mosconi qualification events this year, Chris, but I think he's sort of committed to doing a few more next year, which, you know, with the aim of just qualifying directly for the team rather than having to rely on any wild cards.
Right. So I like him going offensive here, trying to carry him the 7, meaning run the cue ball off the 1 and make the 7 ball. He could go defensive, or he could 1 rail bank the 1. But I really like him. It's pretty natural to come across the 1, hit the back rail, and slide into the 7. And we'll keep talking about it, that great players are aggressive, so they're looking to do the work themselves. Oh, he missed the 7. He may have made the 9, though, so watch out. Wow. How they rolling, Luke?
Well, I mean,
besides end over end.
Yeah, I mean, could you say that was something he was? No, it's not. Is it? It's just an absolute fluke, isn't it? Really?
Well, I don't think it was an absolute fluke. I think he knew the 1 was going towards the 9, maybe for a later combination, you know. Now, he obviously didn't hit it how he wanted, because he definitely wanted to make the 7 with the cue ball.
I'm sure he'll take it, though.
Oh, absolutely. We'll see Corey Deuel up to break the balls for Team USA in Game 2. We're tied at 2 games apiece in this race to 7 between Team England and Team USA. Corey surveying the rack, which does anybody in pool know more about the rack than Corey Deuel?
I think you'd find it tough to answer that with anything other than a no. They don't. He's the guy who always masters whatever people put up as new rack conditions or new racking. And Corey's generally the guy who masters it the quickest.
Well, he's the one who changed the game with it.
He did indeed, yeah, with his soft break.
There'll be that asterisk next to Corey's name forever, and not a bad way at all. It's just, he's an incredibly wise player, and he pays attention to a lot of detail, and you don't accidentally find those things out.
No,
that comes from a lot of hard work.
Yeah, exactly. And he mastered that soft break where you just trundle the cue ball into the one and take it in the side, and
he really made it apparent in the 01 U.S. Open when he beat Mika Immonen 11-0 in the final.
That's right, yeah.
And that was another thing because it was used beforehand by Corey in a little bit smaller events, but we all kind of thought that it would never apply to a bigger event. Like, you can't beat the best in the world. You got to win 7, 8, 9 matches in the U.S. Open against all great players. You never thought it could win at that level.
No, but it just left him, repetitive layouts every time because of the precision and lack of power in the break.
Yeah, and it just took. Mika Immonen may have been considered the best player in the world at that time, going on to win the U.S. Open, I believe, the next year. Now, this isn't going to be any good without a bump.
No, he's all right.
He may have fallen really straight here. This may be hard to get a lot of cue ball movement. No, he's got enough angle. He should just punch this kind of one rail towards the 9. Anywhere around the head string is fine. Doesn't have to get up for the side. Oh, he's going to let a stroke out, drawing for the side. Whoa. See all the side spin on the cue ball still. So that tells you how little of an angle he had on the 8. Getting on the board here in our 5th match. The problem is when you lose a game on your serve, on your break, you kind of have to sit and watch and wait for that opportunity to try and tie the score.
Yeah, we often do some statistics at the events, the Mosconi Cup, where work out what if you break, what your percentage is of winning the rack based on previous occurrences, or if you get one ball down, what your chances are of running out. And there's lots of interesting things about that. And obviously, if you break, you're more than 50% going to win the rack.
Oh, right.
But one time it was, I think it was the 2013 Mosconi Cup when it was in the Mirage, and basically at the end of it, the broker more often than not lost the match.
Wow. You won't see that very often.
No.
But that's how great our sport is. I mean, I think the break is a little bit too big of a shot, but hey, that's how the game is. But there's so much variation in pool. So many variables. Now, Chris, last time, he broke from his last break in the singles match. I believe he broke from the end rail, kind of more square out from the center of the table. And if you don't think, we're calling this the party poker warm-up match for the Mosconi, but just by watching how much the guys are inspecting the rack will tell you how serious this is.
Of course, yeah. I mean, nobody wants to lose this.
Wow, he hit him nice. He's not going to be rewarded. He's actually going to be penalized with an easy shot on the 1 on the side. Now quickly Schuyler inspecting the 3 to see if he can get squeezed by that 7. Corey commenting that he likes shooting the combo rather than trying to shoot at a half a pocket. And I kind of agree with him there. So I think he was trying to get him straight to where he could draw the cue ball kind of back where it's at now, to play for that little gap between the 6-9 to get at that 3. Okay, so he's got a little angle. He's going forward with a little bit of high left, like so, and really kind of replacing the cue ball. And that's pretty ideal, Luke. So he's got to make a decision whether he wants to roll this in. I would shoot it with a little speed, I think, and draw the cue ball out between the 6-9 to the center of the table. Oh, he hit it great. He hit it great, really holding the 3 up.
Great shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to look at these guys, you know, as the top players that they are, and seeing a, you know, a table like this with 6 balls and that, and thinking it's just an absolute formality to run out. But it doesn't always happen, does it?
No.
Especially under the big pressure that they sometimes play under.
There's, you know, a handful of times a year you really want to shine, but the pressure's the highest, so that's why sometimes you see it so one-sided, one person shining and the other one not so much. But I always comment, if I'm talking about American football, but if football's a game of inches, what is pool? It's just, you know,
very, very tiny margins.
Yeah, that's right. That changes the entire rack. So he'll want to fall with an angle, either one, above the ball or below it. He just doesn't want to be dead straight. And I tell you, that's a kid that looks super comfortable. That being Sky Woodward. Now it tied at 2 apiece. And now you might have to put a little bit of an edge back to the Team USA, because they will be breaking after winning the lag. If you're just joining us, I'm Jeremy Jones with Luke Riches, coming to you from Spots and Stripes here in South London, correct?
South London, yeah, just south of the River Thames in Southwark.
Yeah, we're playing best of 13, race to 7 points, each match worth a point, each match a race to 5. And we have the matches laid out for all day, except for the last match. If we go hill-hill, it'll be a captain's choice. And when I say hill-hill, if you're not familiar with that, that means 6-6. We go to the case match.
I mean, I think the Team USA are going to be looking to take positives out to take into next weekend. So they're not, obviously a win's a win, but I think more importantly is, you know, how they play together as a team and individual performances. And, you know, so far, you know, they've looked pretty good, I think. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
They look quite.
And one thing I really like, it's been a while since I played in the Mosconi, so
2008, I think.
Yeah, 2008 Malta. That's exactly right. But the one thing I liked that I wasn't aware of the last couple of years that I watched in Vegas is I believe none of the doubles matches you're allowed to play twice with the same player.
That's correct. Yeah. So every
awesome.
time's a new pair.
I like that. I like that a lot. And not saying, a lot of people say, well, if you have to play everybody different, all that, well, it doesn't bring in as many combinations. But what it does is, if you have a guy struggling, you try to figure out who am I going to put him with to make him better. So I think it actually adds an element.
Yeah, I agree. I just think you get to see, the main thing is you get to see more combinations of players, and,
Right.
and see how they fare with other styles, and just all the things that make it interesting.
Well, and I think in this situation, you're supposed to give the best players some adversity. So he's got to hit this with some speed. And didn't get much out of it. Stroke there, Luke.
Yeah, he got great position on the 5, but failed to pocket the 3. But he's kind of got away with it there.
I think US has already used